Okay, welcome MegaWhale team to another video. And I just want to say, first and foremost, Happy Chinese New Year to everyone who celebrates this. My partner is Chinese, so kind of been drawn into that for my own personal life. In fact, everyone's celebrating the Year of the Tiger this year. I'm actually an ox. I know oxes have quite a good year coming. So anyone who is a tiger or has a good year coming, Happy Chinese New Year to everyone. And I'm wishing everyone a great year full of, obviously happiness and prosperity and success, especially surrounding what we're doing here, which is cryptocurrency and trading. And today's video is going to be a short video about Bitcoin. We're just going to update you guys on what we think is happening. But the focus of today's video is that chart we posted. It would have been about 10 days ago now, close to 10 days ago now, which I'm going to bring it up on screen in a second. I think you'd be able to see this. Let me just... All right, so here we go. Here it is. You can see half it. This is our Bitcoin prediction, which was going to be our February bullish month, that rise in that market we're expecting coming into February and extending into Feb and going into March before we crash back down and potentially go to new lows. This is what I think is going to happen. This is what I've been thinking is going to be This is what I've been thinking is going to happen for the last week or so. Looking back on historical data, it is much more likely we see a positive green bullish February than it just crashing down further. We do need relief in the market. There are a lot of indicators suggesting that we are potentially moving and priming ourselves up for a little swing upwards. Obviously, there are certain levels that we need to break to flip the trend. Even moving up to this range here. So we look at the chart here. Even if we had to move up to this range into here, or even into this range here, we're not really in a new uptrend. We're in a short-term uptrend. But if we look at the macro scale, are we back in a bull market? No. There's a lot of things that need to happen before we're back in a bull market. But that does not mean that we can't capitalize on these price swings to make some money. And that's kind of what we're focusing on. I know we've done a few trades in VIP. We've got a few trades going. And there's a few good entries on altcoins at the moment. I think the risk reward is really good. There are a few things I'm still waiting to happen before I'm more in favor of this move coming in Feb, this green bullish month. Obviously, a few things need to happen, which we're going to cover in this video today. And there's obviously a few things that we're looking out for in terms of, maybe we'll see a bearish month. So before we get started, what levels do we need to break to become overall on a macro trend bullish again? Well, I think it's very, very obvious that we need to get back over our moving averages. So we'll go to the one-day chart. We need to get back over our moving averages first and foremost. And I would like to see a break over 48,000. So this gray box here, this resistance zone, I would like to flip that resistance zone. And honestly, anything above 48,000 and 53,000 would be a new bull trend. So that would be when I'm very, very bullish on the market, and I'd expect the trend to continue into the future and go upwards. The safest entry, 53,000, a pretty good entry for risk reward would be 48,000. At those points, I would be confident that the trend is completely flipped on the macro scale. Short-term scale, what we're looking for is we're looking for a break of this wedge. We've been saying it for a while now, but this wedge is still very important. If we break this wedge on that short term, we will see a move up into this range here. Somewhere between this gray box and this gray box, we will find our resistance and either consolidate, move sideways and push higher, or consolidate, move sideways and come back down to new lows and then bottoming out the rest of the bear market. It is too soon to tell right now. We do have our predictions, of course. If you want to really find out what our long-term predictions are for Bitcoin, you have to go watch our previous videos. We've done a lot more explaining on the macro scale, a lot more details about everything. I really don't want to see any more comments saying, oh, but what about this, what about that? You didn't mention this, you didn't mention that. It's like everything that I could possibly mention has been mentioned. I just can't cover everything over and over again every single video. So if you're concerned or confused or I haven't said something particular in this video, there's a very, very high chance it's just because I've said it before already and I don't want to repeat myself. So the best way to digest this content is to make sure you watch most of our videos, or if not every single Bitcoin update video, to really stay ahead of what's happening. I posted Bitcoin update videos. It's more or less like a story. We start with our base in our first video, we develop the story as we go, and we build on the key points that we've discussed in our previous videos. So every single video we're adding new information, but we're building off what we've already taught you guys and what we've already covered. So you've got a more well-rounded understanding of what is actually occurring in the market. It's really important you watch other videos, particularly those larger macro analyses if you want to figure out what the long-term prediction is. Anyway, in saying that, what are the chances of a bullish upswing for Feb? Well, today we're going to be looking at that. We're going to be doing technical analysis and just starting on that 4-hour chart. It is looking a little bit more healthy. We did have a break of this nice little pennant here. Of course, these can break either way. A pennant leading into the downwards can always break downward or up. Most of the time it does break downwards, but we did find a lot of support on this 50 SMA and a lot of support on this trend line. And we got that trigger line at 36,300, which we're holding really well. And if we go to the 3-day chart, we can actually see that that 36,300 level lines up to be around that 3-day, 200-day moving average. And we're bounced on that 200-day moving average a fair bit here, which is actually one of the reasons why I'm actually quite bullish right now in terms of a potential move upwards for February. Seeing something like this occur is a very, very good sign that the local bottom is in for now at least, and we can move upwards. We do have convergence on the MACD. Volume isn't high enough, but it's climbing a little bit. It's hard to see for now. We've only recently broken out of a small pennant. It's nice to see a little bit more development in the chart with this volume and to see this volume move upwards. We did get that initial spike though. If we look at that daily, we have had that little spike over here, which is nice to see. A nice boost in volume after we've had a steady decrease over here. It'd be nice to see what happens with this daily candle if it can pump up. Nice green spike again, that'd be nice to see, and obviously keep this trend going. The one thing I am concerned about right now is we have not actually broken out of this wedge. This wedge resistance is still going to be traveling along that $39,000 to low $39,000 range, and we would need a break and flip that zone for us to continue and push higher. But if we do push higher and we do push up this zone, we do expect a move into the 40,000, mid to high 40,000 range. Okay, with that out of the way, we're going to move into some analysis. We're going to go to a daily chart again. We're just going to run you guys through some indicators. We haven't done indicator analysis for a while, for maybe a few days. So obviously, as a chart develops, these lagging indicators get time to catch up, and maybe we can find some new data that we haven't actually seen yet that can kind of point us in the direction that we think the market's going to be heading. So MACD, we analyze that one on the shorter time frame and the larger 3-day. It looks like it's moving upwards. We'll quickly take a look at the 2-day. When I look at Bitcoin, I personally like to analyze 1-day, 2-day, 3-day, 7-day. Those are my go-to time frames. Historically, those have been the time frames that we find the most reversals in and the most support in. It's just how it is. I can't give you a reason to why. It's just how it is. So I use 1-day, 2-day, 3-day, and 7-day when looking at Bitcoin for macro market moves. Obviously, I use those shorter time frames, 30 minutes, 5 minutes, 1 hour, 4 hour, 12 hour. When I'm looking at pattern sculpt, so the movements between our patterns. So if I'm looking at what direction the price will go between certain market structures, for example, I'm analyzing these market structures, I'll be looking at the shorter time frame. But if I want to analyze where I think the price is going to be heading outside of this market structure into a macro price movements, I'm looking at that larger time frame. So let's move on. Let's bring up our Ichimoku cloud. Now, this was one that I saw earlier, and I really want to bring to your attention the significance of what is actually happening right here. We are really up against that. We're kind of testing that conversion line here on the 2-day chart. And the conversion line, if you don't know what the conversion line is, we broke the conversion line here. That's a really strong buy signal. Every time we break the conversion line, we actually have an entry signal according to the Ichimoku cloud. So right now we are getting a little bit of an entry signal for Bitcoin, suggesting we are moving up. There's a few things about the Ichimoku cloud I still am not convinced with, and that is the exact reason why I don't think that this move in February, if it occurs, will be strong enough to propel us into a new uptrend. We've got a lot of resistance still, our lagging span, so our momentum is still underneath the clouds. At most, I think we move up into that low to high 40,000 range, and then to crash back down. That is what I think is going to happen. Obviously, we can analyze it as it occurs and assess it as the chart develops. So what else are we looking at over here? We're going to take a look at that smaller time frame. We want to see what the possibility of a crash here is, because obviously we do have a fair bit of time left to travel downwards in this wedge. If we look, the wedge extends to about the 10th of March, so we do have a fair bit amount of time left to consolidate sideways and push downwards in this wedge. So if we do find rejections over here, what we're looking at is we're looking at a breakdown below this red line. If we lose this red line here, this support line, we will most likely, and I say most likely, we will probably definitely head down into this gray box again and find support somewhere along this range here. I'd be expecting 30,000 to 32,000 to be a support zone if we lose this red line. So keep an eye on that, guys. I wouldn't be holding any altcoins if that happens. As soon as we lose 36,300, I'd be offloading my altcoins. There's no point holding altcoins through a 10 to 15 to 20% drop. It's just pointless. It's a waste of money. It's a waste of mental health. It really just isn't worth your time or effort or sanity to really hold any altcoins through periods of volatility. All right, guys, so I hope this video helped a little bit. Again, these are just updates. So if you want the bigger picture, you have to watch all the videos, and then you'll be able to get all the information and piece it together and actually have a more of a well-rounded understanding of what we're talking about. But I really hope this video helped and helped you understand the potential directions. Obviously, the chart is looking a lot more bullish. I did want to actually bring up the RSI before we end off. The chart is looking a lot more bullish, and there's a lot more possibility, and there's a lot more indicators that are popping up in favor of our potential bullish Feb. And we can see we did break out of that RSI resistance again, which is another bullish indicator, another strong signal that we can move upwards. I am worried about that volume. I'm worried about the momentum. We aren't moving up quick enough. We aren't moving up fast enough as we should at this level. I think we should be moving up a lot quicker. And I'm a little bit concerned there's not enough volume in to really get the price moving. But there's a lot of fear in the market, and people are slow to act and late to act. So hopefully if we do break this wedge, people will jump in the market and it will spike upwards. So anyway, guys, again, hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked the video, remember, comment, subscribe, show your support. Join the team. Remember, 1,000 subscribers will giving away $1,000. So if you want to enter in that, all you need to do is subscribe. And our links to our Twitter and our Telegram are in the description, and I'll catch you in the next video.